I recorded a few long videos earlier because there was a coffee in the morning and there was a black tea, I guess, some sort of, I don't know what brand is that, but I think it has some weird stuff in it that making me talk a lot. And if I get, let's say, 2 coffees, then it's too much coffee. Make me feel I don't know, it's not a good feeling. It's because like a body is having too much of the stuff that I don't need. It's not a high sensation of feeling high or whatever, some emotions. It's just the body has too much stuff to deal with. So like the brain is shooting electrical impulses to the nerve endings. Too much, like jittery or something. It's not a good or pleasant feeling. But when it's tea, it's the action is not that rough like a coffee. It's like a coffee is like coming with a hammer and it's hitting you and your body is like and now imagine those guys doing drugs. Let me turn this thing off or quieter. So when I go to do some work or I'm driving to downtown Vancouver, if I drive through Hastings, I see this not really old people, because these people who do drugs, they don't make it to old age. That's why I don't see too many old people in the area, or if they are old, they are new to the area. So there are people who probably did some substance abuse, or they had some mental issues and they ended up on the streets, and they went to areas where they feel understanding, like they want to talk and deal with people who understand them and who are alike. And so they are a really tiny minority of older people in the Hastings area and those other areas. Even if you go to other towns where there is a minority of drug users, they gather into the same area, and that's one of the reasons. It's not because they have resources or because of the local government allows them to use drugs in the area by providing safe drug use environment. It's not that. It's because they did that, they had that behavior, that social behavior, even before the government stepped in and came with this type of quick fix, setting up this injection sites, like a drug use and drug injection sites. So I can tell you about some injection sites. I haven't been into injection site, but I did work into a mobile injection site. It's set by a non-profit organization which is funded by the local government, or maybe the provincial government. I don't know where the money comes from. It could be from the city of Vancouver. But I've done some work for those guys, and I get to know a couple of things, more than the average. But I'm not working in the field to know all the details. I can't talk about it. I can't give you stuff on the video. But I'm talking about these lost souls, these people who are not that fortunate to have a clear mind, and maybe they have this mental illness, or maybe they made a mistake that got them down that path or that route, losing everything, and not being able to recover. So some people get hit by lots of storms and lots of pounding and lots of beating and lots of pain and suffering, and and they still stand. They stand the waves. They are little. Maybe they are hardened, or maybe their soul is meant to. Maybe the soul went through so many life experiences, and they learn how to navigate life and how to deal with this and that and that. When you are not experienced navigator, get hit by a storm and capsize, and you have no experience, you don't know how to recover. Even you ride a small kayak, if you don't know how to recover, you die, right? So same thing with these people who navigate with no experience, no life experience. They could be young souls or old souls, I can't say. But if they don't have that financial strength, life experience, a network of friends who can help them get back on their feet, those souls are gone. Slowly are gone. So again, one mistake. So don't laugh about those people. Don't point fingers. Don't blame them. Don't be rough on them. Leave them live their own life and follow their journey. And if you can, give them a hand. So I did record a similar video earlier, but I did not post that one because it contains some information that I didn't want to leak out in the wild. But I take the similar thoughts, and I record this one for public. I don't care how many people watch this one. It's just some of my thoughts. So I was trying to say, so these people who take hard drugs, hard substance, let's say, if you want to try that experience, have 3 energy drinks, one after another, so which is equivalent to like 6 coffees or something like that, 6 or even 9 coffees, because some of the energy drinks have so much caffeine inside. It's like 3 times, it says on the label, 3 times the amount of the one coffee dose. So you get so much stuff in your body. Your body is not able to handle it all at once. Some people are trained to take alcohol and process it because they train their body slowly, and it doesn't mean that all people can take everything, all the junk, all the chemicals, but some people are able or trained, or maybe their body size can take the same quantity without harmful effect. There was a video on the YouTube. Ram Dass was talking in a conference or a presentation or something like that. So Ram Dass, he passed away maybe last year or 2 years ago. Was a former Harvard University professor, like a highly rated professor in his research, who chose to get enlightenment. He chose to make some changes into his philosophy, his lifestyle, his behavior, his way of thinking. And while he was a professor, he had a group of students experimenting with psychedelics, like LSD was in a fashion at the time, was in the market, and people were having psychedelic experiences. Some people ended up jumping off the buildings because they got this feeling of wanting to fly, being like free like a bird or some stuff like that. So the psychedelic, the substance, was messing up with their mind. And lots of people died like that, and the substance became very illegal. And so of course government side tried to save money. Insurance companies were pushing for this type of stuff, for this type of substance. Yeah. And they call it substance abuse. It's abuse if you abuse of it, but if you just use it, I don't think you can call it substance abuse. You can call it substance use. And they call it illegal substance abuse. Why? Because the lawmakers listen to the cry from the insurance companies who were losing some money, and they thought, yeah, we don't want the kids to do the same thing, which could be a good thing. It depends which side of the fence you are. So if you do stupid, and if you are not trained, if you don't have the experience, and if you dump some weird chemicals in your brain, especially those untested coming from illegal sources, and if you are seeking some sort of extraordinary experience and you meet some underground world guy who tells you that this is the stuff, you pay me this and you get this and you get this experience, yeah, of course you get in trouble, and it causes the healthcare system to deal with your body, your sick body, and put you 6 feet underground, yes, if you don't have anyone. So of course they are legitimate steps they took in order to prevent dumb people to use this type of substances, which are powerful, too powerful. It's like you give a kid or a teenager, you give that teenager a Ferrari, so he would get an experience, he would feel the power. Same thing, you give even to an adult a substance that has too much power. I hope my voice went through. But if someone really want to listen what I say, they will make up the words, the missing words that were muted by the sound of the fan on the car. And so this Ram Dass, you think, if I go around and if I drive the car, if I look at the traffic and I see people driving and I notice the traffic, you think I'll forget where I left the bookmark? No. And why not? I saw the pothole and I thought, okay, if I go to the right, too late. If I go to the left to avoid the pothole, the big deep one, I entered that guy's lane, so not nice, scary for someone else. So I went like a slightly touched it. And so Ram Dass was conducting these experiments with hard drugs, and these people were having some psychedelic experiences, and they were looking for some sort of extraordinary encountering with God. And I was going to actually record a second video about the topic of the scientists versus religious people, and who's trying to be more in control, the scientist mindset or the religious person who trusts God and pass the control into God's hands or Jesus' hands. Which is better life? Which life you would prefer? To know everything, or to know the basics, helping you navigate life and enjoy life and beauty and happiness, and let the big stuff in someone else's hands, especially God, stuff that you can't control, right? So If you really decide and try hard to have control on everything, you get sick, man. I can tell you that. I had a scientist mindset, and I still have. I did not switch to religion or anything like that, and now I'm a dumb follower or something. I'm a zombie, indoctrinated by some religious leaders and stuff the way they want. Because I used to think that way, you know what? Don't fall into the religious dogma, because you're on the other side of the fence, the scientific fence, and you get dumber the day they go by. And no, I'm not like that. I see this, and I see that, and I see that, and I see that, and I see these groups of people, like a huge groups of people, spiritualists, religious people from different religions, the way they think, and the science, different groups and subgroups of science, you know, arguing with each other which is right and who's wrong, and you know. So I see this and I study this without getting attached to any of those, because once you get emotionally attached to a group, social group of people, let's say you are really attached to the science, and you live by the science and by the rules and by the theories and by whatever scientists come out and say, you're one with science, right? So in the name of science, if you are attached to that group, then your mind is biased, because you have this attachment, let's say sort of a love for what they do, who they are, and it becomes who you are. Because why you believe in something, you attach yourself to something because you want to belong. You want to attach yourself to a certain group you believe in, or it gives you certain emotions. So why people do things? Because they seek emotions. I thought I saw a nice butt, but it was not a nice butt. It was a butt. But I see, oopsie daisy. It's a good thing to have your mind spread all over the place, because you can see things, you can process things, and it's good. Do I want to be in control? Is that part of me trying to be in control and try to see everything and know everything? Maybe some left over, but anyway. So going back to Ram Dass. Oh, that but was a cool sight. Let me stop the car and get it out of my mind. Let me see. Ram Dass, but go away. Meditation. How to get rid of the urges, the thoughts. I'm talking about people who do drugs, and now the thing comes to me. Is try to grab my attention, it's like some entity is trying to tell me, yeah, you have a big bullshit, you're trying to talk to people about addictions and shit, but you can't control your emotions. So imagine you being an addict. Would you be able to control your emotions, your own desires and urges and emotions? Bullshit. Show me now. I put some butt, nice round butt going by. I made you to observe it. So now I'm testing you. Ram Dass. Okay, Ram Dass was his... That butt was... Anyway, so... How to get rid of it? Meditation? No, you won't have time to see me meditating. So let me park my car. So if I drive the car around for a couple of seconds, so clear up. It was a good feeling. Anyway, so butt is gone. I'm here in a present moment talking about... It's gone. And anyway, so I think I have to, you know, the why they put the what's called horse eye, whatever things on the side. How do you know that block the horse is sight? You know, I need something. So I'm going to hold this thing here because turning my head to the left, it's actually a program. I just built a program the same way people build a program when they go to get a smoke, want to shoot some drugs or something. It's a program, and I explained to a different video. But now, because I built a program, I did look like 4 times with intent. Was a sarcasm, actually, but I built this program with intent of making a sarcastic joke, and I did look. In the same time, I brought some emotions, thinking about that beautiful butt I saw earlier. I did not see the breast, but it was a nice person. And I made a program, I associate an emotion to it, and now I was seeking the emotion because it was a good feeling emotion, and but the brain is trying to retrieve the program. Looking there makes me bring the emotion, and not the emotion makes me feel good, right? So you get it? So now I break the program. I put this thing here, which prevents me to turn there, and I deleted the program because I altered the program. So I just gave you a tip how you delete light urges, not the strong ones. So I was given the sexual urge because it's deep inside, encoded in people's genetics. So now imagine people dealing with drug addictions. Those goes deep, the cellular level, and they do change and alter the way we perceive our biochemistry, because the biochemistry, it's affecting our senses, the way you experience stuff. So let's say if a young guy, young dude is horny because his testosterone levels are high, that's deep. It's a deep emotion, okay? Or if the guy is getting angry, or the woman is getting very angry, pissed off, that's another deep emotion, adrenaline. So though adrenaline gives you certain emotion, so which one starts first, the mind or the body? Tells the mind the way how you feel, right? So I won't get into that. So going back to Ram Dass, I altered the program and it's gone. So I don't have to repeat 3 times the emotions to build the program. They tried these psychedelics, so now I'm trying to go back to my story, which gives me an emotion I'm seeking. So my brain will not lose the track seeking for a good feeling, good emotion. And when the brain is trying to dig into the memory, which was a good emotion, no, alcohol, booze, I had experience some pub, I went to to some chick house, or I went to see some cool movie or something. No, the brain will seek into the memory database to seek the emotions that give me that good feeling I'm looking for. So the recent one is talking about this guy, the Ram Dass, because I loved that video. So it's a good emotion, and it can help me get rid of the old one regarding the sexual urges. I exaggerated a bit. I'm a bit of an older guy. I don't get those urges like crazy, but still I'm proud to be a guy. And so Ram Dass experimented with LSD and harsh chemicals, so he admitted that in a public environment. As a former university professor, he did not have anything to hide because he was an enlightened person. So, there are different way of thinking. When you are enlightened, you are not afraid. You're not afraid. So myself, I know what it means to be into a survival mode. I know how to live in a country where people look into your mistakes so they can use those mistakes and put you down, keep you down, put you down, control you. Even in a corporate environment, lots of people spy on others, look after like look into other people's mistakes, so they can report, so they can get prizes and significance and satisfaction and stuff. So that's a behavior that gives those people certain emotions. But myself, you know, I'm way past that. That's survival mode. It's for other people, not for me. And I'm not at the higher level, but I'm into a parallel world when I compare my emotions now and not being afraid to share even some thoughts, some darker side thoughts, or some not very pleasant aspects of my life. You know, fuck it, I don't really care. I don't really care what. We are all the same, I'm telling you. Anyway, so they experimented with hard drugs, and they started to lose control over their emotions, and they started to argue with each other, argue within the group, and they had high tensions and stuff. So they were seeking to experience God through these psychedelic experiences, but it went sideways. So the group had kind of a break apart, and in his journey, in his seeking experience to find God and answers and stuff, connect to the spirituality, he went to see an enlightened person. They call it saint, a person who could sense energies, people energies and emotions, and he could do things and heal people just with his own presence and smile and stuff. So like a kind of a Jesus-like. There are few people in the world who have this type of gifts and abilities after intense training or whatever, or maybe they came into the world with the gift, like probably Jesus came in. And so this guy, oh, it's already half an hour into the video. I thought it's only going to be only 5. Sorry. So this guy, this old guy, East Indian guy, through an interpreter, like some guy who was translator. So he showed up in front of this guru, or no, this enlightened person. But before that, in their journey to that remote monastery or some like monk's place, yogi's place, it was a longer journey, a couple of days of walking and taking some sort of riding some animals or something, and riding mules. I forgot. It was no horses, something else. In one evening, they stopped somewhere to rest for another day of part of their journey, because this guy was determined to get to this saint guy. And around 10 o'clock in the evening, he's watching the sky with amazement, and he's so into, that experience of being connected to the sky and amazed of billions of stars he could see, which you can't see in North American continent, especially in a busy town. So he is amazed, and he is thinking of his mom, who passed some time ago. So now, at the end of the journey, he go to see this enlightened person, and the guide, the translator and guide, kneel down and kiss the enlightened person, the old guy, feet, which is part of the tradition there. But this professor, he's standing there with his hands in his pocket, and he's thinking, I'm a university professor, I'm some big shot, some big guy, and I'm not going to kiss this guy's feet. And this enlightened person, the saint, said, last night around 10 o'clock, you were watching the sky, and you were thinking about your mom. And this guy, what? And started, tearing up, because he could not believe. And I can tell you, it happened to me something not like that powerful, but very similar. When I saw a blind woman walking in front of me, walking in the office I did working, and she was blind, and she was asked to point to a broken pipe where nobody could find it. It was hidden somewhere in the building. Nobody could find it for months. They were digging outside and in the building. Actually, they were digging only outside, but they called some guy with some device to find water in the ground, but they could not find the broken pipe. So they called this blind woman, who was well known as a person who could see through people's bodies. Like, they called her the tomograph woman or some stuff like that, like a medical term. And so she came into our office, and I saw her, and she said, I see steam coming from that room. And she went there with someone who was leading her through the hallways. And she said, yeah, I see some sort of like a fog. And when I saw that, I was not a religious person at all. I started tearing up. It's like I see the miracle, because I believe that. I believe that, and I thought. So most people would say, you know what? Yeah, probably she said, I need the proof. I need the proof. How does she know? Because if she's saying it's under the concrete slab, like under the foundation. So there was no proof yet, but I believed her. And I started tearing up, and was like a powerful emotions came to me. It's like, wow, I see some sort of a divine miracle, some stuff like that. How this is possible? And of course, I heard other stories about this woman. And anyway, I heard about her on TV, no, actually, I heard her on the radio or something, but after that. But 3 days later on Monday, no, 2 days later on Monday after the weekend, I learned that the workers dug a hole in the concrete floor, and they found the broken pipe about 1 meter away from the site where she pointed at. So maybe 1 meter away, because the water pressure was making a lot of steam or vapor or whatever, digging some holes, and that made her to see only one portion of it. I see undercover cops coming from the parking lot. I don't think they were shopping. They are looking for drug exchange people, because these are the type of cars, undercover cars. Usually when I see them with some guy on the ground arresting some guy, okay, oh yeah, that's the undercover car. Sometimes they use this type of car on the highway, for speeding, but this is in a city. So when you see this type of stuff, I recognize them. I know what car they drive, because I've done work for cops in the past, not as a cop at all. No, just a contract, like a side work. And anyway, that was the side topic. And the guy, the old guy, the Ramdas, was now old, and he died. He had a really full life, and interesting. He had lots of public speaking and interviews and stuff. Like he shared lots of knowledge, but he was talking about this experience with a saint, and the saint could tell him, yeah, you have that stuff in your pocket. He was talking about some drugs, because this professor was not really addicted, but he was still trying this type of psychedelic experiences. And in his search for connection with God and divine experiences, he kept trying. But he actually went to see this saint guy, because he was told that he could get one of those experiences without using drugs. And so that saint, that person, helped him to learn the easy, not the easy, but the correct journey without using substances. And my point, so I went through a long story. I went around. I don't know, maybe you will learn something from it. You will pick a couple of things from it if you have the patience. If not, that's okay. Like I said, I was told I'm a sort of a messenger, so I share the information. You take it or leave it. And so this Ram Dass, one day, Ram Dass actually was the name that was given by this this guru, this saint. His name was not actually Ram Dass. It was an adoptive name, an East Indian name. So he one day he went there to talk to this this enlightened person, and that once he said, yeah, you have that stuff in your pocket. He was talking about LSD or some hard drugs like that. I want some. And this professor thought, whoa, that's why he would need that, because he gets these experiences through meditation and through his deep stuff. So he can alter his consciousness through other practices instead of taking chemicals. And he held a hand like that, and I want more. And this guy was like, what? And so he gave a couple of, like a huge dose, which would kill a bunch of people. A bunch of people would take the whole thing. And this enlightened person took that stuff and dumped it into his mouth and swallowed it. And now this Ram Dass was waiting to see what happened. He probably believed that it's going to do something, but not going to kill the old guy, because the old guy knew everything. He knew everything he could do, he could not do, and he was able to tell the other people emotions. He was able to heal, so he knew what he was doing. But so nothing happened. A couple of minutes later, nothing happened, and he said, it's in your mind how your body deals with stuff from outside world. So anyway, so don't believe that without having proper mindset and proper training. Don't believe that you can take drugs, abuse drugs, and take higher doses or something, because if you believe it's not going to affect you, if you believe that you are immune or something, it's not going to affect you. Only certain people have certain type of mind. They can alter the state of mind and access different type of world and different type of energy field, which an untrained mind can't do. So don't do, if you see someone doing stuff, don't do that. If you see someone doing a larger quantity of drugs or mushrooms or something to get some sort of experience, doesn't mean it works for you. Some people go to do deep meditation and expecting miracles and stuff, and it doesn't happen. And they go 3 times, 4 times, nothing happened. And one person goes there, and first session, and they alter their whole body, psychology, and behavior, and the whole physique of the body. So they get healed, total healing. And they pass the energy and heal other people with their body, new healing energy. It's not for everyone. So if you see someone bragging about doing drugs or doing, don't do that. Don't fall into that. So let you go. Your mind has the power to change your body, has the power to change what's in your reality. Okay, so I'll let you go. See you later. Bye-bye.